Well, on witness, the hills on the boil are not just in Assam. In Darjeeling, in neighbouring West Bengal, we encounter the same simmer. 20 years ago, the Nepali-speaking population of Darjeeling had gone on the warpath, demanding a separate state for themselves, Gorkhaland. The man who led the movement, Subhash Ghising, has since then changed his stand. He now wants tribal status for Darjeeling under the 6th schedule of the constitution. But Ghising's rollback has angered a section of the population who still want Gorkhaland and who also resent the tribal status for the hills, where the non-tribal population is an overwhelming 70%. And so the pro-Ghising and anti-groups have clashed in Darjeeling, where the Gorkhaland demand had left a trail of blood 20 years ago. The place is on the boil again. Saurav Sanyal brings you this report.
Naked swords and traditional kukkuris are out in Kurseong once again, bringing back memories of a bloody past which left scores dead and hundreds injured in the late 1980s when Subhash Ghising's Gorkha National Liberation Front, or GNLF, took on the administration pressing for a separate state. This is the very spot where the first firing in fact took place when Gorkhaland movement came into being in 1986. In fact, 5 people were shot dead right here by the police, after which the entire movement spread across the hills and took over a completely different turn. 2 decades later, GNLF supporters are out on the streets once again to press for the 6th schedule. The 6th schedule will give tribal status to Darjeeling and arm the tribals with more funds than the area has seen before. The GNLF hopes the parliament will pass the amendment bill this winter session itself.
खरसाङ में नहीं ऑल ओवर हिल एरिया में सभी लोग से हमारा पॉजिटिव रेस्पॉन्सिव है. जितना भी हमारा समर्थक है उससे बढ़कर आगे और ज्यादा हो गया है. रेस्पॉन्स हमारा अच्छा मिल रहा है. देख लिया है आप लोग ने.
But everyone doesn't share that view. Struggling for basic amenities like water, health and education for years together, Darjeeling's tribals and non-tribals have started speaking out for the first time in 20 years against Subhash Ghising, his administration of Darjeeling and his rollback on statehood. And their anger is spilling onto the streets.
First problem, water. पानी. यहाँ पर पानी नहीं है. देखिए आदमी कॉलेज का भी प्रॉब्लम है. सबका प्रॉब्लम. Each and everything. सबका प्रॉब्लम. यूनिवर्सिटी यहाँ पर कुछ नहीं है ना. हमारा जनता का कुछ नहीं है इधर. सब नेता लोग खाता है.
The 6th schedule, the local sphere, is a ploy of the GNLF and the West Bengal government to divide the people of Darjeeling of Nepali origin on caste and ethnic lines. Under the 6th schedule, 6 tribes, the Bhutias, Lepchas, Sherpas, Yolmos and the newly included Tamangs and Limbus will have greater representation in the proposed Gorkha Hill Council than the 70% non-tribal population, who is a Tamang himself, to give more teeth to his own people.
सिर्फ तामाङ का टैक्स नहीं लगता, भोटे का नहीं लगता और सब पर टैक्स लगता है और थोड़ा और दूसरा जात तो गरीब के गरीब रह जाएंगे और भोटे और तामाङ बड़ा हो जाएंगे. इसमें जात का विभाजन होता है.
Riding high on the anti-GNLF wave is the 6-week-old Gorkha Janmukti Morcha led by Bimal Gurung. Once Ghising's right-hand man, Gurung today is his biggest enemy, mobilizing young and old for the creation of Gorkhaland.
6 शेड्यूल हमारा हित का बात नहीं है. 6 शेड्यूल से हम लोग का जात में विभाजन होगा, दंगा फसाद हो. किसी को फैसिलिटी मिलेगा, ट्राइबल को फैसिलिटी मिलेगा, नॉन ट्राइबल को फैसिलिटी नहीं मिलेगा. साथ साथ में ये जो भी सीट है वो सीट में तर्क वितर्क होगा, दंगा फसाद होगा, तानातानी होगा.
Joining him, the All India Gorkha League, led by tribal leader Madan Tamang.
They are playing with fire. You see, if they really try to impose that sort of anti-people's, 6th schedule, there will be, there will chaos. They are trying to safeguard the minorities. I am also tribal. Tamang is in a tribal, but that divides the society.
The GNLF, which for the first time is facing opposition, is charting a public relations campaign to tell the people that the interests of the non-tribals have been amply safeguarded in the 6th schedule, that only 10 of the 33 seats of the proposed Gorkha Hill Council will be reserved for non-tribals.
The opposition has been fairly successful in spreading this propaganda, but I really believe, and it is only for the benefit of the community. It's not going to divide the community at all. In fact, it's going to bring in prosperity. It's going to bring in employment, jobs. It's going to really get us involved in India's prosperity.
But not only are non-tribals feeling slighted, even tribals are suspicious about the division of powers in the proposed council. They suspect that the newly declared tribals, the Tamangs and the Limbus, who are also the most populous, will wield all the power. So, braving the chill, non-tribals and tribals are on the warpath against the 6th schedule. 20 years after the Gorkhaland movement left a trail of blood in these hills, the call for a separate statehood is gaining momentum by the day. While the GNLF, which then led the movement, is now pressing for the controversial 6th schedule, for the man on the street, the ultimate dream remains Gorkhaland. A quest for identity which can be realized not through warring politicians, but by taking into confidence the aspirations of the common man as well. In Darjeeling, Saurav Sanyal for NDTV.